Speak your truth. I have somebody super special. He's from Ohio State. Introduce yourself, man.
My name is Roen McCullough. I'm a senior at Ohio State, and I am a finance major.
Finance. Ooh, I need you in my life. Help me get my money right, man.
Maybe
Help me
someday.
get my money right. Yeah. Get my money right 2021. Man, this is awesome. Super glad to have you on here, bud. I really appreciate you coming on here today and spending some time with me. Have you guys started classes yet?
Yeah, we did. We just started on Tuesday, actually.
Oh, nice. So yeah, definitely I'm taking some time. So let me hurry up so you can get back to them books so you can help me. All right. So tell us about Rowan. Where are you from? How'd you get into football? And then how'd you get to Ohio State?
Right. So I am from Worthington, Ohio, which is about 15 minutes north of Ohio State's campus. How I got into football? That's a great question. So I have two older brothers. My oldest brother, Jude, played football. He played track. He wrestled. He kind of started the whole family going into football. My dad was a football player, didn't play in college. But my oldest brother kind of got everything started. Then my middle brother, Liam, who is now actually with the Raiders, he was at Ohio State with me. Liam kind of got me started. Him and I have played on the same team, almost every single team up leading to college. We played college football together.
Nice.
He was a senior and I was a freshman, so that was kind of a blessing. But yeah, so then I kind of followed suit, played football, I played lacrosse, and I wrestled. I know you're a basketball player. I tried my hand at basketball and I wasn't that good. But yeah, so I kind of found my niche with football. Liam, the middle brother, he started going to long snapping camps when he was a freshman in high school. When he was a freshman, I was in sixth or seventh grade. And I think it was sixth grade. So he started going to these snapping camps, was pretty good at it, got ranked decently high. I think he was second in the nation for his class.
Wow.
Yeah. So once he started going to these camps, then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to, play college football. So I started going to these long snapping camps, found out that I was decently good at it as well, kind of ran in the family.
Nice.
So then I started going to these college football camps, cold calling coaches saying, hey, here's who I am. Here's my ranking in the country. I was ranked third. I was ranked second, then third, then fourth, then second, and third. You know how it is.
Definitely.
So basically you just go to these college camps, win the football camp, talk to the coach, and I brought in a couple really good offers to play football. I had offers from Georgia. I had offers from Ohio State, Cincinnati, and Toledo.
Wow.
And it was really between Cincinnati and Ohio State for me. Georgia, I would love Georgia, but at the same time, it's pretty far from home. So ended up, following my other brother's footsteps and going to Ohio State. Funny thing is, so Liam played with me, but Jude, the oldest brother, was a cheerleader at Ohio State. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So not many people know that. So everyone kind of knows the story of my brother and I, but I feel like Jude needs some glory too. So, cheerleading.
Man, that's so dope. First of all of you going to Ohio State, like that's one of the best schools in the world. So kudos to your parents, first of all, because that's super dope.
Yeah,
you guys working so hard to be student athletes at the Ohio State University. All of you guys deserve some credit, man. That's dope. That's so cool.
I appreciate that. So yeah, so that's kind of how I got to Ohio State and just started playing football there. And then kind of my story with football, as a freshman walking on, I redshirted behind my brother. Sophomore year came, I took the back seat, was a second string for us. And then my junior year, I ended up in 2020 getting COVID, which was, I know it affects everyone differently, but I developed a heart condition from it actually, which I didn't. It was kind of out of the blue. It was like crazy to me. I went for a run my 10th day of isolation and I almost collapsed like 500 feet into it. So called my trainer. I was like, hey, I don't think something's like right with my body. Got a cardiac MRI and turns out I had a condition called myocarditis, which is just the enlargement of the heart. and I messed up my left ventricle pretty bad. Had some scarring on that, so that kind of set me back. Usually recovery times like 6 weeks before some of my other teammates had it before they could come back. It actually took me 4.5 months, which, everything happens for a reason. And looking back at it, it was definitely a blessing because it allowed me to focus on, school. And it was my hardest semester yet. And I think I got a 3.9 or a 4.0 that semester. So definitely a blessing, silver linings and everything. Right. So, but yeah, so then I ended up getting cleared to play for the Big Ten championship. So I was with the team, practicing with the team, able to do everything. And then the spring game came around a couple days before the spring game. My football coach, Coach Washington, he's our linebackers coach. Funny thing about this, so in high school, I played more positions than just being a snapper. I was our, stand-up D end. I was a linebacker. I was slot receiver, offensive line. Wherever they needed me, I was able to play. So Coach Washington was at Boston College at the time, and he was a linebackers coach for Boston College. So he actually came to my high school and recruited me to go to Boston College. And I said, no. I said, I don't want to be a linebacker in college. I want to be a long snapper at a Big Ten school. So it kind of came full circle. He came and, 2 days before the spring game, looked at me and said, hey, Rowan, we're pretty thin at linebacker. Do you want to try it out? And I was like, you know what? I appreciate the opportunity. I'd love to. So I learned the playbook, couple plays before the spring game, went in there and ate up. So it was a blessing. And they moved my position to linebacker. And then this summer, off-season training, picked up a part-time job, being a college kid, being an athlete. Really the only things that you can do is, weekend work. So I picked up being a bouncer at a bar and ended up tearing up my shoulder pretty badly during a little scuffle. And I, looking back in retrospect, there's always that, I shouldn't have done that. I was just looking for extra cash on hand. But everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer in that. When doors close, others open. Decided to retire from football. I think that's what's led us here to this podcast today.
Yes, man. So first of all, before we get to that, thank you for sharing your story and opening up. I think it's really, really awesome, the story that you have, your family. You guys are like incredible. I want to meet everybody now. And the fact that you were able to get a 3.9 or 4.0 GPA as a student athlete, period, but while you were struggling with COVID, that's crazy, man. So can you talk to us about the focus and the drive, the discipline even that it takes to make sure that your studies are right while you are also playing? And then we don't have to talk about you having COVID. I can't even imagine trying to deal with all of that at the same time.
Right. So I feel like it's all relative for each individual. So I grew up in a really nuclear family, came from a 2-parent household, pretty stable family. And they instilled in me from a young age, academics are your number one priority. So I feel like that, coupled with being a specialist, being a long snapper, it's kind of the name of the game. You can't be an idiot, I guess, per se, as some of the coaches would put it. They wouldn't want, you don't want a dumb specialist. You want the specialist to kind of reinforce the team GPA. So not only was it a priority in my family, but it was also a priority on the team for me to have a high GPA. And so with all that pressure, I kind of focused a lot of my efforts onto studying. And a lot of people don't know, but I'm sure my coaches wouldn't like to hear. Sometimes we would, I'd sneak out my iPad to study during practice on the sidelines. But yeah, so don't tell my coaches. Hopefully they're not listening.
And that's dedication. They can't be mad about that. That's dedication, man.
No, but they were super flexible with my schedule, allowing me to kind of come and go, practice, team events early, late. I think at Ohio State, they understand that for 95% of their athletes, maybe 90%, because it's Ohio State, that, they're not going to play in the NFL. And so And even if you are going to play in the NFL, you're going to have a life after football. So they reinforced that. And I think that, you know, coupled with what I talked about with my family, I think that's what hammered it home with having a high academic standing.
For sure. That's awesome. And I know it's hard to balance it no matter, you know, how much pressure you have on you. And I think that even makes it a little bit harder, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So talk about your decision to retire from football. How old are you?
I am 21 years old.
Oh, you're a baby.
22 in November.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. So like, all right, you are 21 going on 22.
Mm-hmm.
You thought maybe be playing football for a couple more years, right? Yep. So where, if you don't mind me asking, if you are like in the headspace to even talk about this right now, where is your head at this moment?
So that's a phenomenal question. I've had to sit down with my grandma actually and try to figure this out, sit down with my parents. It's hard. It's a very hard decision, you know. Growing up, you know, you're kind of consumed with football. Football's all I've known since I've, you know, been a little boy. And, you know, it's hard to work your entire life for something and have it taken away from you. You know, that's kind of how it feels sometimes, but then you have to look at it and say, you know, these are God's plans for me. I don't know how religious everybody is listening in, but yeah, so that's something that I really believe in, and everything is according to his plan. And you know, I always think it's funny. Everyone always says this, you know, you have your plan, you make your plans, you hear God laughing, because, you know, you never know what he has in store. But yeah, it was a hard decision. It was hard because I had the option to get the surgery after the season and play through the season. I also had the option to, after this year, take 2 more years, or if I got the surgery and I medically redshirted, to have 3 more years after this. So I'd graduate and have 3 more years playing football at Ohio State.
Nice.
But yeah. So it was really appealing, but I had to look at myself and say, okay, Rowan, think of life after football. Think of, you know, would I be able to live with myself in 2 ways, right? So would I be able to live with myself risking hurting my shoulder even more, you know, and having to get major surgery, you know, maybe shoulder reconstruction, something like that, and then have to deal with that the rest of my life? Or, you know, do I get the surgery now and, you know, end my football career? So that was something that it was really hard, because all my coaches, you know, they're super supportive, as any coach should be. But at Ohio State, it's production. You know, you got to perform, you got to execute. And I'm sure you know this with you know, being a former basketball player. But it's all about production and how you're adding value to the team. And, you know, when you're injured and you're hurt, you're not adding value. And so it's kind of that hard truth, that hard reality to face. And I had to sit back and look at myself and say, okay, Rowan, what do you want to do? And I didn't know the answer. And to this day, it's hard for me to kind of comprehend and wrap my head around, you know, did I make that right decision? And ultimately, I think I did. I think it is pertinent for me to focus on my studies, focus on my career, life after football. But yeah, I had to talk to my parents, talk to my grandma, talk to my coaches, you know, and you have football pulling you to the left, your parents pulling you to the right, you know, prioritize your health, you know, stuff like that. But in the end, my parents were really supportive. My mom looked at me and said, you know, Rowan, it's your decision. You're a man. You're becoming a man, I should say. You know, I'm always going to be my mom's son. I'm a, you know, baby to her. So yeah, but yeah, so I struggled with that decision, and, you know, it led me here today. I think I made the right decision, but, you know, I got to stand by it now. Got the surgery already and healing up nicely.
Yeah. Hey, I don't think there is any wrong decision in life. They just all come with consequences. So, you know, the only consequence right now is that you're not playing football. I don't see anything wrong with the decision you made. Personally, it's just outside looking in. And I wish that I had the mindset and the support to be able to say, like, I don't want to play basketball anymore at a certain point when I didn't want to play anymore. So with that being said, what do you think helped you most with being able to make this decision? Your support system? Do you think it was like experiences growing up, having, you know, other siblings? Because I was the only child for a long time. So I was like 12 or 13. So me and my brother, we can't even relate. He's 16, I'm 28. I have no idea what he's talking about half the time, what he's listening to or watching. So do you think it was like those close bonds that you had? Like, what was it that helped Rowan do this?
Yeah, so it's hard, and I don't know how to put it into words exactly. I think it's really important to have a big support system behind you. Did I have that entirely? I wouldn't say so. Like, I mean, I have my family. I keep my friends, you know, my friend group really small. I have a lot of people in my network, but my friend group is really small. I made a LinkedIn post, and that's how you and I found each other. So I've had great feedback on that, but we all know how social media is. The same ones that build you up are the same ones that tear you down. So, you know, all these beautiful comments that I'm receiving, all these great, you know, people that are reaching out, you know, I take that with a grain of salt. So it is hard. It still is hard to kind of to deal with it. But I think the biggest thing that's helped me through it, like I said, you know, my faith, you know, trusting in God's plan for me in my life. But overall, I feel like my parents, my brother, I felt a lot of pressure with my brother in the NFL, and especially having a phenomenal career at Ohio State. I feel like that's always something that impacted me. You know, I never played in a game at Ohio State, and I was just a performer in the classroom. And, you know, there's different roles for everybody, but, you know, opposed to my brother had phenomenal years at Ohio State, played there for 5, started for 4, never had a bad snap. You know, there's a lot of pressure. I know I envy Liam. I love that guy. But at the same time, it's definitely hard. But I think overall, being comfortable in who I am as a person, knowing that I set myself up for life after football, and knew that, you know, football is a means to an end. I think the number one thing I took out of this, I only played under Coach Meyer for a year, but what he said in one team meeting, he said, make football what you do, not who you are. And that he said that once, I wrote it down, and it's been at the front of my football notebook forever. Anytime I have a bad day, I look at it. Anytime I have a good day, I look at it. And so I can kind of attribute a lot of my support. I know Coach Meyer is probably not going to hear this. Maybe, I hope he does.
I'm about to say maybe.
Shoot, I hope he does. But he doesn't know it, but that really impacted me. And that's one of the things that I've kind of continued to say to myself. And I've always felt like that, you know, even in high school, I've been blessed by having, you know, great athletic ability, great brains, you know, academically. So, you know, I just got to be comfortable in who I am, and, you know that football is a means to an end.
That's real. I love that. I think you younger, and I'm only 28, so let me not make it seem like I'm 30.
No, yeah, you're young.
But it's you guys who are a little younger than me, y'all are like so ahead of us, and like just so I'll guess like relax, and y'all just don't take life too seriously. We are so robotic and mechanical, and, you know, grind all day, never sleep, you know, and you guys are, well, you know, I did it. It was cool. I'm gonna just go do something else now. Like, that's so awesome, man.
I mean, that can be a blessing and a curse, right? I feel like a lot of my generation, now they're kind of coming off topic, but I feel like a lot of people in my generation, they don't know what hard work is. Like you guys say, you're the rise and grind, you know? And I feel like a lot of people, you know, being an athlete, I've kind of had it instilled in me, but I also have that, what is Gen Z, whatever we are, mentality of, you know, it is what it is. You know, I got to take it and roll with it. I got to, you know, we always talk about on the football team. I don't know if you ever heard of it, the E+R=O. It was coined by Tim Kite. It's events plus response equals outcome. You don't control the events in your life, but how you respond is how you can shape the outcome that you want. So, you know, that's something that I've lived my life by, and that's something that Coach Meyer put into place. And we used to have leadership training with that at Ohio State. So,
listen, I don't know if I got eligibility left, but I need to be on the football team somehow.
I'd be happy to share my stuff with you.
Man, please, because, man, you got me over here all inspired and stuff. Man, that's deep. What's your relationship with the football program now, with the players and the coaching staff?
I mean, I don't really talk to the coaches anymore. You know, some have reached out and wished me, you know, great health. You know, the kind of the stuff you have to say to your players. But a lot of my teammates have reached out to me. I know I'm really close with a lot of my teammates. Our starting left tackle, Nick Petit-Frere. He's reached out. Him and I have been close. Him and I have been tight. Some of the DBs, a lot of the linebackers, specialists, obviously. But on the football team, it's more, I think everybody kind of understands the life after football aspect. And I was always the guy in the locker room to talk to people about, you know, it's crazy being a finance major. You talk to all these guys, everybody comes from different backgrounds, right? So I'm a white kid from Worthington from a 2-parent household. Especially, you know, I think that my background, I feel like my background's a cookie.
Yep, say that one more time.
I feel like my background's a cookie cutter background a lot of the times. And so, especially with all the social events and issues that have happened in 2020, it's nice to be able to look at your teammates in the locker room and have those open conversations. And, you know, a lot of the times I wish the world was a locker room because I'm able to ask questions that I feel like if I asked on Twitter, people would kill me for, but my teammates are open. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what I don't know.
For real.
It's allowed me to build relationships with my teammates further than football. And especially that coupled with, you know, like I said, being a finance major, talking to these guys about, you know, everybody wants to make it. Everybody wants to make it. As my teammates would say, make it out the hood. I love them. And so, you know, talking to them about, you know, how can you make, you know, league minimum $600,000 some dollars and turn it into crazy investments to build that generational wealth. And I feel like our football program has supplemented that a little bit, but I feel like that's allowed me to build, you know, relationships past football with my teammates. So it's nice having them in my network, being able to, you know, lean on them as a support system, some more than others, but it's definitely a blessing.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. First of all, that you even have the openness to ask those questions and the bravery, because I know it's not always easy.
It's not. And sometimes, you know, you got to phrase them in ways that, you know, maybe they're not, you know, maybe you're getting the answers that you want, but you're not asking it the way that like normal people would ask it. I don't know. It's hard.
You got to be politically correct about a lot of stuff.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, and even still though, you know, the willingness to have those conversations, the openness from your teammates even to share with you. And, you know, we all talk about ending racism and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it'll never end, but there's a way to at least, you know, close the gap, bridge the gap, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know.
That conversation.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you're talking about life after football a lot. So now we pretty much here.
Right. We are here.
I'm about to say we here. You feel me? We here. You right. We here. Tomorrow, if Rowan could wake up and do anything, and not for the rest of your life, maybe, but if you just do anything tomorrow, what would it be?
That's a hard question, you know, and that's something I'm still trying to figure out. You know, I had surgery last Monday, right? Oh, I've been asking myself that question every single day. Yeah. All I know is I'm a big brick by brick person. You know, I wake up every day, you lay a brick. Wake up every day, you lay a brick. And so at the end of these 3 or 4 months I have left until I graduate in December, you know, I'm going to look back in December and say, wow, I built a wall, you know, after building those bricks every day. So I can't tell you what I'm going to get into. I can't tell you what, you know, I want to do, but all I can tell you is every day I'm moving forward. And so it's something that I've had to fill my schedule with, you know, other things. I'm working 2 part-time jobs. I'm about to pick up a third possibly, along with being a full-time student. You know, I'm trying to reach out to all these people on LinkedIn who are messaging me, seeing, you know, who I can add value to and who can add value to my network, stuff like that. So I can't tell you. I don't know an answer. I'm just trusting in God's plan, and I'm moving forward and trying to get good grades.
That's beautiful, man. Well, I don't really live in the hood, but I'm going to try to make it out my version of the hood even faster for you so I can put you on payroll.
I appreciate that.
Bro, I can't have you out here working 2-3 jobs, man. What?
Yeah, you know, it's you know, on the outside looking in, I'd always be like, you know, that damn, that's hard. It's hard. It's hard life to live being a regular student. I think football helps cushion a lot of stuff for us. We schedule our classes first. We take priority in a lot of different things, but we always call the regular students NARPs. It's kind of like the student athlete thing. I don't know if you know, it's the non-athletic regular people. So they're all making jokes to me that, oh, Rowan, you're getting the NARP life, you're living the NARP life and stuff like that. So yeah, I am living the NARP life. But being a walk-on too, the NARP life is now, how do I pay for school?
Yeah.
Not everyone has, the beauty of, a scholarship. So now I'm trying to figure out, how am I paying for school? How am I getting around campus? How am I paying for a parking pass now that football's not provided? Well, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that.
Man, this is my last question, because I was supposed to last question 3 questions ago, but it's
you can ask as many as you want to ask. I'm loving it.
Thank you. So you go from not having to worry about too much being a student athlete, right? Like you said, your classes priority. Do they schedule your classes for you? Like you just talk to somebody and it's
no.
done?
We talk to our academic advisor, and my freshman year it's like our business survey class, I lay out every single class I want to take for every single semester. But the funny thing is that my older brother Liam was also a finance major, so he's kind of told me and guided me with everything. But yeah, they do help us a lot.
Okay. And then books, all that's free, meals, all that. You have to worry about nothing. Now, you literally have to worry about everything all at once.
Yep.
Are you okay? That? Are you okay? Okay.
Yeah, so it is hard. It is hard. I'm not gonna lie. But I think the number one thing is being so secure in who you are as a person, where I'm a big believer that I set up my life where I'm never too overly reliant on anything. If I had something taken away from me like that, I'm not going to worry about it. I think I just talked about this in my church small group. We were talking about how what was the context? It was like, if something was taken out of your life in the blink of an eye and your life would crumble to pieces, then that's your idol in your life. And that's kind of changed my perspective on everything. Football was taken from me like that. The crazy thing about that is I actually had that church lesson right before I made my decision to retire. And so it's something where I've had to look at myself and say, you know what, Rowan, it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? I have so much stuff in my life that I have on my plate right now. And I think the biggest thing is, especially being a man, it's hard for us to, look at somebody and say, hey, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I've had to look at, one of my jobs. I'm still a head of security at a different bar now. I'm not doing all that stuff now, but I've taken more of a managerial position and more admin position. But a lot of the people there, are my age. They're graduating. They're just recently graduated, and a lot of them who they've all been kind of following my career too. Being able to look at them and say, hey, I don't know what to do. And I don't know if I have, a person in my life that I can look at directly and say that to. I'm going to be honest. But a thing that I've had to work around is how do I don't want to say open up to different people for different things, but how do I, as a man, relay my emotions without sounding soft? I don't know how to. It's hard because being a young college kid, you're like, oh, I want to have all these, I want to maintain my reputation, stuff like that, maintain my image. But then I look back and I say, why do I have to maintain that image? And that's what led me to making my post. And I thought, I'm verified on Instagram. I got almost 4,000 followers. That's a whole funny story in and of itself, getting verified. But I'm like, everyone's always seen, I look at my Instagram and one of my friends said, Rowan, now that you're done playing football, what are you going to post? I'm sitting here, I don't know what I'm going to put, like make Instagram casual again. I don't know. Pictures of my dog. I don't know. But that's what led me to making this post about, here's who I am. Here's what I'm going through. And the support and people reaching out is overwhelming. But I think that's kind of, it's just hard. It's hard being a man, especially. I feel like nowadays people are becoming more aware of destigmatizing mental health and everything like that. I think that's what one of Coach Day's big points was. But it's hard, especially I come from a very strict household. I don't really have those close relationships with my own brothers or dad or whatever, but I'm able to look at my mom or my grandma and say, hey, I'm struggling. It's hard. Have I yet? No, but will I probably after this conversation? Yeah. But it is hard. It is hard. But I think the number one thing for me is just being able and willing to open up to other people.
Definitely.
And let them in.
Definitely. That's important. I think that's a man thing. It's a person of color thing. Is to try to take on as much as you can and be as strong as you can. And, eventually, everything breaks at some point, right? You can only be so strong.
Yep.
As much as we want to believe it, we ain't, or want to be like God, we ain't God, or be like Jesus, we not. So, there's a lot of pages now on social media, Instagram specifically, that I know of that are talking about men's mental health specifically. So I can send those to you if you want.
Love that. Yeah.
And if you don't already, and this is for everybody listening, I would encourage you to go to therapy, because that really literally saved my life. I don't know where I would be without it. So, and that's one place that you can be vulnerable, and that person has no idea who you are aside from what you wrote on your paper. That's it. They don't really care who you are. They just want to help you. So that's their job. So if you and anybody listening, please go to therapy at least 1 time, 2 times, give it a try. And if you don't like it, then talk to your mom, talk to your grandma. It's awesome that you have those relationships with them and you feel like you can talk to them. That's so important. I know I can't talk to my mom. I wouldn't dare call my mom and, tell her anything is wrong. And my grandma either, because she would just tell me to be strong, to suck it up. It's all going to be okay. To have faith. And I think that, it's awesome that you have tremendous faith. I do as well. But faith only takes you so far sometimes, and you need to cry. You need to talk to somebody else besides God. You need somebody to talk back sometimes right away. So, but I appreciate you opening up to me. I really, really appreciate that. And I don't take that lightly, because I know personally it's not easy to talk to anybody about anything, especially when you need help. And like you said, being a man, I carry a lot of masculine energy, and also being a Black woman, come from a Black household, also 2 parents. So I saw my dad and my mom be so strong all the time, to where now they're breaking not only mentally, but physically. So I'm glad that we ain't doing that, right? We talking about it. We don't be emotional. I'll cry. I'll listen to you. You need to cry, call me. I'll cry with you, bro. Because I cry a lot. I cry almost every day. For real. I cry almost every day. Yep. TMI, when I PMS, I'm crying all day, every day. So I don't care. I let it out now. I cry in public. I'll just be crying. I don't care. You got to let it out.
Yeah, you do. You have to.
What advice do you have for anyone at any age? It could be 67, it could be 7, who is wanting to make a huge life change, huge transition, and they are struggling right now with that decision, making that decision. What advice do you have for them?
One thing that, well, actually, I'm going to say 2 things. 2 things. One that my mom said, and one that my grandma said. My mom always says, when you don't know what to do, don't do anything. And then my grandma would say, let go and let God. Not everyone is strong in their faith. Not everyone has a faith. But I think the number one thing that that a lot of people do is they have paralysis by analysis. Nowadays, there's so much going on. There's so much that people deal with. Our lives are so go, 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 that people really don't have, a sense to step back and say, who am I? What am I doing? What do I want to do? Who do I really want to be? And how do I get there? And I think the number one step in doing that, my piece of advice, is be open about it. Have that conversation. Even if it's with your dog, even if it's with, your next door neighbor, even if it's with me, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram or something, say, this is what I want to do. And, find people that can help you get to where you want to be. Even if it's not even a major life decision. Let's say you want to have the courage to go talk to somebody, talk to somebody else about it. Not everybody's against you in life. That's something that I've always had to, wrap my head around. And not everyone's against you. You do have people in your corner. And I know that, if you don't feel like you have people in your corner, you can reach out to you, or you can reach out to me. I'm sure, you or me would be more than willing to help, have that conversation, connect you with people. But overall, I just say, have a conversation, take a step back, know who you are, know where you want to go, and figure out a way to get there.
That's beautiful. Rowan, you're going to be my president. 2042 or something like that, whatever it is.
Great. down the road.
You feel me, bro? Yeah. You are awesome, Rowan. Thank you so much for joining us. Seriously, you are super awesome. I mean that. You're super dope. Yeah. Gave me a lot of strength and encouragement, inspiration. When I was 21, nobody even wants to know what I was doing or thinking. You are light years ahead of me and many other 21-year-olds that, was 21 back in my day. So keep it up. Like I said, I'm gonna call you in a couple months and, be on your line about helping me with my portfolio and all that. But I'm gonna have like $1 million, Rowan. So I need you to know what to do.
I don't doubt that. The crazy thing is, I don't doubt that.
Thank you. But you need to know what to do with it, because I ain't gonna know what to do with it. I'm like, look, I got all this money. You know what I want to do? I want to go to LA. I want to go to Miami. I want to go overseas and party, but I know I can't do that. So I need you.
We'll have that conversation.
Snap me back to reality and take it from me.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you, Rowan. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much again for sharing your story and being so open.
Of course. Anytime. Thank you.